Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Felicia Cravens on. She is, among many things, a publisher of Free Radical Network. She's a contributor at usdailyreview.com, founder of the Houston Tea Party Society, drama teacher, rebel rouser. What else? Did I miss anything? Oh, you're also a mom and a wife.
That's right. But my favorite title, I think, there is Rabble Rouser that you went through. I love that title. I claim that.
Yeah, you should. Yep. We're working on Rent a Riot, but we haven't got anyone to pay for it yet. But Felicia, I looked at Felicia Cravens on Google just out of curiosity. I checked out my friends, and you make a phenomenal case for Google Plus. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Well, apparently you have a gazillion followers on Google Plus, and so they made this nice little box for you that is just really quite cool. That I think that Google's giving you that extra love because you have really exploited Google Plus. And I need you now to help me build my Google Plus.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely. Now I'm still learning how to use it well. I still am, but it is a pretty interesting platform, and it has its good points. I will tell you that.
Okay, and so I noticed, like, for example, they say your most recent point is your most recent point. Post rather. It starts off, for starters, the mere fact that Echo Light Studios and Santorum would go to such great lengths. It looks like the whole thing is about a paragraph long. Is that your post? And where was that post at? Is that a post for Google Plus?
That is the last thing I posted on Google Plus. It's an R.J. Muller column about Rick Santorum and his desire to start or to have a Hollywood studio to start building culture, cultural conservatism in Hollywood. It's a very interesting article. R.J. Muller is a good writer that I know from Facebook. But when he writes things, I share them everywhere. And it's a really fascinating article. He argues that Rick Santorum's name should be nowhere on that if it's about changing the culture.
So what is your thoughts about that? What do you think about, because I, for one, am a big advocate on us, the big ways of changing our society. Politics is like a follower to those things. What's happening in politics today is a direct result of what's happened in media, what's happened in our culture, what has happened in our public schools. And so It's like a symptom of those things. So I'm all for changing those big influencers. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. The problem that we end up with is who's going to do it. There are so many conservatives that are, we're discovering in Hollywood that are now a little more, I guess, equipped and pleased to come out and share their views. Adam Baldwin is a phenomenally active conservative on Twitter, and you can see different ones on other platforms as well. But there's enough of a movement now in Hollywood where you can't just dismiss a conservative out of hand. There's some really good work being done by good conservatives. It's just they need more. One of Andrew Breitbart's plans was to build this underground network of people who were conservative, give them, connections to each other so they could identify each other and know each other. And he did do that. But his next project that he encouraged people to do was, no matter what level of conservatism they had, attempt to do something in Hollywood. If you were going to be, say, a lawyer, go be an entertainment lawyer. If you were going to be in an office, go be an office worker in one of the studios that was conservative. Whatever your talent or skill, go do it in Hollywood if you could, because that would be the beginning of the way to turn things, so that people didn't have that sort of stigma, I guess, of, he's a conservative, we're not hiring him.
But who cares, though? I mean, really, who cares? So I personally am all for us adding more content out there for our side. He doesn't have to be an influencer of the left per se. He could be providing an alternative, a refreshing alternative to those of us who can't find media that we're comfortable with our family watching. I mean, I'm grappling with the negativity of a Rick Santorum going into this domain area.
It's not so much that building something that Rick Santorum is talking about is a bad idea. It's a very good idea to be able to engage in the culture war. It's that having Rick Santorum be the spokesperson, I think this is what R.J. Mueller was going for, having Rick Santorum be the spokesperson for it and announcing it so boldly in this way just sets himself up for failure. And the guy is, a really, hard fighter on the political conservative front, and those are good things. But changing the culture can be done from that sort of position, I suppose, is where he was going with that. And Rick Santorum, again, R.J. Mueller agrees with him a lot, but that the fact that he's Rick Santorum attempts to lead a culture charge, given the things he said, given the kind of image he's got, it's problematic. Cultural change is going to be where conservatives make good art and people start to respond to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be conservative art, but good art. And then they can begin to have those messages that go in there. There's some good conservative stuff out there. I mean, the Batman series that's been out lately, that's, incredibly conservative. There are films and there are television shows that have good conservative messages because they're good shows, and that's why people watch them, though.
Yeah. I for one, I'm just so delighted that someone with his visibility is bringing to attention to the fact that this problem exists, and so I, for one, I'm all for it at this point. And I have to admit, I must learn more. But at this point, I'm all for it. I was excited to hear about the, oh my God, I can't believe I don't remember their name because they're so hated by the media. But the brothers, the Koch brothers, who are trying to buy the LA Times. I'm all for it. Go for it. Go for it.
What was funny is watching the kids on Twitter go nuts over the Koch brothers attempting to buy this news outlet. Everybody was, we have to quit. We're never gonna deal with that paper. We're never gonna use that source. They were up in arms. It's the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
But when you put your politics that far ahead of business, that far ahead of real life, you deserve everything you get. It was fun to watch them melt down.
That's been my whole view about headline news versus CNN. And CNN and headline news appeal to the exact same audiences. And if CNN was a legitimate business, and I wrote a column about this at U.S. Daily Review last week, just put in CNN in the search engine there and you'll find it. If they were a legitimate business, they would be out there competing to get people from other channels. Imagine, for example, they created a more conservative network or, even something more fair and balanced like what they try to do at Fox News. Imagine that. Right now, you get probably around, I think it's about 60% of the viewership at CNN compared to Fox, and about 20% for headline news compared to Fox. Well, imagine if that 20% at headline news moved over to CNN because they didn't make headline news a mini-me of CNN. Imagine what that would do with CNN. And then they went ahead and went right after Fox News customers with a conservative station at headline news. Think about what that would do. That's what business people would do. Clearly, they're not business people. They're ideologues.
That's exactly right. That was just where I was going. I'm so glad you said it that way because obviously, most media news outlets are not in a business model operation. They haven't been for years and years. You used to have the entertainment section of a network that would subsidize the news section of a network, and that was how it worked. NBC, ABC, CBS. Then you had CNN that went in completely news. And 20 years ago, it was a very reasonable alternative to the networks, but not anymore. their ideology is so embedded in what they do, they cannot get to a place where they understand the business model. Same thing happens to newspapers. I mean,
oh yeah, it's just, they were. And this is why they're sinking. Yeah, I know technology is changing things, but so is their editorial approach. You need competition in ideas, just like you need competition in soda products, food, and everything else. You need competition in ideas, and unfortunately, there isn't any in the mainstream media. That's why Fox doesn't really have to do much to be the biggest network, because there is no real competition out there. All right, freeradicalnetwork.com. That's what Felicia Cravens is with. She's also a writer over at usdailyreview.com. Delighted to have you on the program.
Thanks, Kevin.
Stay tuned for more right here on The Price of Business.